This episode is dedicated to my friend Smiley, who asked to hear his name on YouTube. Man of my word. Thanks for the hospitality you showed a fellow traveler. See you later on down the trail. Well, suppose the time has come for a little bit of context. This is Richard Ritter. Mr. Ritter is somewhat of a quiet legend in the world of ultra-large format photography, and when it comes to camera design, modification, repair, well, some might just label him a genius. After searching worldwide and speaking to a host of other ultra-large format camera makers from Poland, Italy, the Czech Republic, I came to the conclusion that Ritter and his innovative camera designs were the correct course for me. They're remarkably lightweight, they're strong, they're well made, and it hadn't hurt that Richard, along with Fred Picker and a few others, were the people behind Zone 6, the makers of my very first large format camera, the camera which, if we're being honest, very much set me onto the road to madness. So I sent a letter to Richard. I ordered my 11x14 camera, and I inquired whether he would mind if I just made the pickup in person. He agreed. The opportunity to meet a person so intertwined with my very first large format camera, who just happened to be the same man who would be handcrafting what is likely to be my last, well, that was just a prospect I couldn't allow to pass. So roughly 6 weeks later, I find myself here in Townsend, Vermont, at Richard's home and shop, on the brink of an experience I will not soon forget. Hello, Mr. Ritter. Hey, a man himself. Do you mind if I use the GoPro at all here?
That's fine.
Okay, I didn't want to shove a camera in your face. Absolute pleasure to meet you finally, sir. Good to meet you. Adam Welch. I said, I guess, settle up with you and pick up this beautiful camera.
Yeah.
There you are.
Well, come on in.
Oh, thank you. I have to tell you, sir, this is an amazing experience for me. Just to see this. Wow. Somehow, it is exactly how I thought it would be. Absolutely gorgeous. I guess this is
the camera.
oh my goodness. Good buddy of mine in Germany. This has been quite the little adventure getting here. And I think I told you in one of our emails, my first large format camera was that Zone 6 4x5. He has that now. And I stopped at Newfane. Sent him a picture of that. He's losing his mind way across the Atlantic now. Unless you don't mind if I just fill in there. Oh man. This here, that has to be
That's a
some,
Zone 6.
yeah, has some
That's
significance.
a one of a kind.
I had a feeling, yeah.
Yeah, for the 20th anniversary, we're experimenting with different woods, and that one's black walnut that's been ebonized, and there was an electric violin maker in Westminster, and he did the wood finishing for me.
Beautiful bellow. Who does your bellows? Do you make them yourself?
No, I get them from Custom Bellows UK.
Oh, Keith.
Keith.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been using them since the early 80s.
Great guy.
Yeah.
I had a horror story. I had a 5x7 Conley. I was going to restore and sent the frames, the bellows, everything. Disappeared. Post office lost them. So yeah. My.
Yeah, I have, because I work for camera collectors, I sent them some really weird bellows.
I can imagine.
He was able to reproduce them for me. Yeah. That's a 20 by 20.
I was going to ask you what size that was.
But it's been adapted to a 1220.
I cannot. This is so surreal being here, Richard. I don't. I said I hate to. I feel like I'm at a loss for words, but my goodness, I really appreciate you letting me come in here and actually pick it up, because I mean, it's one of those things. I mean, how many times you get an opportunity in your life to meet the man that made your camera?
Yeah.
And especially, it's very much like a full circle for me. Like I said, my very first was at Zone 6, and now here I am talking to you, literally in the place, you know, oh man, I can't get over it. I cannot get over it.
Well, there's more back there.
Well, I feel like I'm barging in on you, but at the same time, I absolutely want to get my hands on everything that you got in here. This is unreal. Oh my goodness! And you were a die maker originally by trade.
Yeah.
And how long was it photography first or?
I was doing photography. Well, I started out when I was in high school.
Yeah.
In the summers, going to artist camp doing oil paintings.
Oh, nice.
And then when I was in college, I used to backpack. I was up in the Williamsport area, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
So I would weekends backpack and took a sketchbook with me. And the first summer home, I was working in the machine shop. I was working overtime. And I figured, I'm going to get a camera.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was going to Hallmark, and he introduced me to the 4x5 camera. I'm like, oh, I can do things with this camera I can't with the 35.
That is so similar to some other things I've heard.
Yeah.
The way people get started. I mean, it's kind of, I don't want to say it gets in your blood, but I think in a way it really does. Mm-hmm. Like once you kind of dip your toes into anything over, which, we call it large format now, but anything like over 4x5 or something, oh my God, it's no stopping.
Mm-hmm.
So this is actually, I guess you might as well go back.
You can go back in.
Get in there. So this is literally where everything happens.
Pretty much.
My goodness. And you don't actually make the carbon fiber yourself, but everything else you
a lot of this,
tool right here.
The carbon fiber and some of the plastic parts I job out. And the company that makes the carbon fiber makes it, for the who's who in the aerospace industry.
I said there's not just a whole lot of information on a lot of the technical sides of your cameras. I said I track so many people down. Nick, he was the only guy I ran into that had an 11x14.
There's one down in Florida.
Clyde Butcher.
Clyde Butcher has a... Is it 11x14?
I mean, this was...
Or does he have the 1220?
I think, how much... Hell, you would know more.
I know he has one of the cameras, and when he was here, he was standing there holding the whole camera with one finger like this. and the weirdest thing is he pulled in a little Volkswagen, and here Clyde gets, 6'6", gets out of the car.
I'm going to set this down somewhere if you don't mind. Mm-hmm. Can I take a look at the camera? Open it up
if you want, we can take it outside and set it up.
That would be fantastic. I've got my tripod out here I can dig out.
That tripod right here.
Oh man, another treat for me. I'm actually on the fence. I've got a burl block now. Mm-hmm. I'm actually on the fence about getting that because we're heading out to the Pacific Northwest next. Mm-hmm. I may just go to the shop.
Well, I've put 2024s on this one.
Man. With your camera.
So you know it's 30.
Oh my God. Let's see. This is so ridiculously light. Richard, this is an absolute dream to hold. It weighs exactly how much my 8x10 does.
Yeah.
Which is wild to me.
I should get my 8x10, it weighs 6 pounds.
Man. Don't tempt me, Richard. Don't tempt me. Here's my dog. She's upset I didn't bring her up here.
Oh, I have a cat in the house.
I'm a closet cat person. I'm a closet cat person. I love cats. Oh, man.
The best way to open and close is to remove the bellows from the frame, and then you don't distort the bellows, and you don't fight with it closing it.
And I've ran into some of those. The front standard, the knob was rubbing on the bellows on some of them. Like that makes sense. I actually said some other day I don't fanboy really over people, anybody that's alive, but watching you set up my camera, I can tell this is one of those great experiences of my life. This is gorgeous. I've got the lens board in the car. I should have brought that up here.
Oh, that comes with a lens board too.
Oh! Actually, I didn't know that. I feel like I should have known that.
Well, yeah.
Another thing that's kind of coming down on me now, you know, I realize now this is my camera. This is absolutely wild, Richard. That is gorgeous. And this wood, you said it comes here, I guess? You source it here?
Here and in Pennsylvania. But the Pennsylvania source is getting a little harder to deal with.
Where's I have to go? RIchard Ritter, 11x14. Culmination. What's the biggest camera you've ever made?
2024.
2024.
Yeah. But I have a 4-foot roll of ortho film.
Oh, you just cut it?
Storage, and someone at one point tried to talk me into, said, you know, let's build a camera to handle the 4-foot roll of film.
I've, what's his name? Oh, Hal. He's got a bus he travels around with, and he's got a, I think it's like 3636. It's a square format or something. But this is honestly, it's big. I think I told you, we live full time from the road, and I literally built the shelf system in the car around my 11x14 trays, and so this is as big as I can go and develop on the road. I would actually probably went a little bigger. I didn't realize you had these centering lines on there. That's great. Like I said, when I walked in there, like, your shop is really what I was expecting somehow, and somehow, like, this is everything I hoped it would be. But now that seeing it, it's so weird to me to see. Oh man, well, there I am. All right, Richard, you've been kind enough, gracious. Let me come here and do that. I took up a lot of your time. I guess we'll take him down and we'll get back on the road.
Holder with you?
I don't have. Well, actually, no, I do. I have that
the wet plate holder.
Yeah.
We were going to look at that.
Yeah, let me take that real quick.
Okay, it fits in.
Loose.
No, that's fine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. You may want to do something about the handle.
They put an extension on there.
Yeah, like maybe put a little knob on here.
Yeah. It's funny, it's one of those rare times that I did my best with the measurements you had on your site, and I was talking to the guy. Of course, he had it off fellow from eBay.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think that'll fit. So yeah.
Yeah. See, on a normal holder, it's about this much. This is about 2 inches in this area.
So it would stick out more.
It sticks out more, yeah.
Shouldn't be a big deal.
Yeah.
Hopefully, anyway.
Yeah.
Of course, famous last words.
Well, if you put an extension on the handle, you'll be able to pull it.
I guess the big thing. That's been going on like way back. They were doing that wide inside of
1840. Let's see, 1880s was Southwest. When Pause was in their heyday.
I was not realizing I was doing like a time lapse when I was telling that to my buddy Lee. We'll do this one more time. Lee, second try, man. Mr. RIchard Ritter. Just best at showing this this absolutely incredible Zone 6, man. So like I said, greetings, my friend. How old did you say that camera was? And when did you make that yourself? Back during the days?
Let's see, when did we do this camera? I think it was around 1993 we made this one.
It was always, you see them with brass like that. In mine, I had never seen, my Zone 6, I had never seen another one like it. It has, had the plate at the bottom, the new Frame plate in black. Had all black hardware. and I've never seen one that had all black hardware.
Oh, that's the Calumet camera.
Oh, okay. But no, it doesn't say Calumet on it. It says
it doesn't say Calumet, but it all the hardware was aluminum.
Right. Black anodized aluminum.
Anodized aluminum. That was built after I left Zone 6.
Okay. That was one thing I wanted. Like I'm like, oh God, I'm gonna talk to RIchard Ritter. I'm like, I feel like I should ask him because he would know. Because I'm like, even though I don't own the camera anymore, I'm just like, I've never seen one. So that what year is that was made?
Probably 94, 96. Okay.
It's one thing my buddy Lee, he was always he's like me. He was wondering about.
I'm not sure how many they actually build because the guy that built the wood for us, he had overruns, and he gave Calumet the opportunity to buy the overruns. They came through, and I think they pulled 30 cameras out of it.
Really?
And left him with the rest of it.
So that might have been maybe one of 30, you think?
So, yeah. So, and I know they did do a run of cameras, but I don't know how many they did. Because the guy that used to do the cameras for us, we used to do a run of 250 cameras at a time.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it just like a line? Like you just go down and like somebody's doing the backs, somebody's doing the rails or something, or no?
No, basically, first you start off with this part because he had a 4-station glue station. You can only do so many parts. And, someone would be sitting there for like 3 or 4 days just gluing parts together. And someone else would be out in the shop starting to run the next set of parts. And, you figure there's a lot of joinery and fussing on these cameras. So while someone's gluing stuff up, another person's getting parts ready for the next glue up.
And that was do you have like a factory set up in Newfane when all this was actually going on with Zone 6, or was it just like everybody spaced out?
The woodworker was...
I feel like I'm prying, but I'm just so curious about all this stuff.
No, the woodworker was on Burge Street in the old SD Organ complex.
This is in Newfane?
No, this is in Brattleboro.
Oh, okay.
No, when I started, we were in Newfane, in Lil's Barn. And then we moved down to Brattleboro, but we kept the Newfane mailing address.
Right.
And I lived up here in Townsend. Patrice and Bob and Eleanor lived in Newfane. Lisa, who I worked with, lived in the center of town. Her husband was the pastor of the church. So I would leave here, pick her up, pick Eleanor up, pick Patrice up, and then we'd stop and get the mail.
It's a big group going to get the mail for the company, I guess.
And, we'd get the mail, and I'd be driving to Brattleboro, and they'd be going through the mail already, picking it up and opening mail and sorting it. The woodworker was in Burge Street, and then we had 3 different people making metal parts for us.
But it was all more or less...
And then we collected all the parts up, and we had a retired school teacher. He taught industrial arts. And another guy, he was a process engineer. He worked for Miniature Ball Bearings in Keene, and he worked on the 2000 line. And he said, their largest ball bearing race that they made is you could take 10 of them and line them up on a dime. And they would come in part-time and put the cameras together. And, we'd use, people who weren't busy and taking orders or packing boxes, we just pull them and sit them down and let them make cameras.
And here I am talking to you about this camera I've tried to read about for years, man. What a world. What a world. My goodness. By the way, your photographs are, I guess, this is all your work, I guess?
This isn't.
Okay. I think your photographs are beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
You fume it with iodine and bromine.
You don't mind me showing this on camera, do you?
No, fine. And then you take the image, and the mercury is actually heated to 140 degrees, and it's the fumes from the mercury that develops it. And then you fix it in fixer, and then gold tone it.
Huh.
Where these are Barel. There's no mercury involved. It's just you fume it with iodine. And the weird thing about it is when you load the film holder and you do the fuming, you're doing it underneath the red safe light.
Right.
You take the exposure, you load it. I leave it in the film holder. It's about 3 layers of ruby lith that you put on top of it. You expose it to sunlight for 2 hours and it develops it.
So it's
No one's been able to explain what happens.
same. That's got Ed Weston wrote all over it, by the way. But so it's just kind of off in the ether. Like they don't actually understand how the exposure actually works.
Yeah, no one.
And it's just called
This is called the modern. As it was found by Dr. Barel. He also found Barel radiation.
That name sounds so familiar.
Yeah, Barel radiation.
What camera did you make these? I mean, is it one of them that you made? Was that 4x5? That's one you're talking about with the.
If you want, you can handle these.
Well, that's just like it. I don't know.
That's why they're in glass.
Well, it's just so strange. Like I don't think I've ever seen a plate look like that. It's a very strange.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's almost like you're looking like the backside of a negative. Be like the emulsion side
almost
of a
looking
negative.
like at a mirror.
I'll lay this one up there.
I think we can. Yeah. This isn't a good one, but no, it's been rubbed off already. But the thing about it is, depending on how I don't have any. Okay, that's a test plate. But if I take my finger, you can rub the image right off of it.
Do you varnish it or something to make it last, or you just say you have to put them behind something?
You put them behind something.
That is so wild. These actually look just like, it's been years ago now. I was out in Austin, Texas. You know, they have original, Napice's original photograph there.
Yeah.
But you know, I hate to say it, it's kind of underwhelming, like to see it now, but because it's faded so much. But I think that's actually, I think that may be what that reminds me of. Of course, it's on a pewter plate.
It's on a plate, yeah, about this big.
Mm-hmm. I think that just the finish of that, the way it reflects, I think that maybe that's
well,
the
the thing
flavor
about it is that's one of the early ones, and they figured out that if you do certain things to it, it lasts longer.
So odd, you hit it just right. You can see it sitting on top of the plate. You can actually see it, the emulsion. Is this all local stuff, like you just made around here?
Outside
really?
Right outside the door.
I gotta say, Richard, by the way, not photography related, it's like an overused euphemism. Like you are living my ideal life. This is
Well, a friend
gorgeous.
of mine showed up one day and he got out of the car and he's like walking around going, "You're in God's country."
It's funny because, I'll eventually stop traveling. I can't do it forever. But I mean, you're in here.
The thing about it is, if I cross the road and go 1/8 of a mile, there's a really nice beaver pond down there.
Well, it's coming through. It's just a very small, small town, has everything you need. Of course, like you said, the country is beautiful here. But I mean, you got a hearth, kitchen, big room surrounded by what stuff I would say you probably love. This is...
Yeah, the next door neighbors own everything around me.
There you go.
Yep.
Actually, I think I've got a pretty big lot like around here. A bigger house. Yeah, I passed them coming in.
Yeah, and as you turned on to East Hill Road, on the right hand side, that area that was all mowed. Yeah, they bought that.
It's always good to have security like that.
Well, there's a beaver pond down there, and they put that into a wetland conservatory trust.
Yeah. So it's never going to be.
It's never going to be. And boy, when they put they put a second high tension power line in, and they were not happy. because they had to bring horses in to do that area.
This, you said there's gold. These are gold toned as well.
Some of them are gold
Yeah, I can see
toned,
that. I
some of
can see
them
this one.
Yeah, you can tell by the color.
Mm-hmm.
If they're blue, they haven't been gold toned.
No, it's something. It's just hard to characterize how that looks, which I guess it makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I really appreciate you showing these to me. And this is just, if I wanted to research this, like, is there a lot of information out on this per se,
Yeah.
as far as the Mercury?
Yeah. Mercury and Barel. Yeah, people look at me and they're going, oh, the Mad Hatter disease. And it's like, well, we know what's going on now. And the Mercury box is no longer uses liquid mercury. You take mercury and you rub it onto a plate of silver. And you end up with silver albumen, which is basically the same thing that silver fillings are.
Do you have to...
And then the plate gets heated up and everything's in a sealed box, and it's also in a fuming hood.
do you have to, like, prep the plate at all to get the mercury? In my mind, I think mercury, I just see beads of mercury, like, beading up on something. Is it actually covered?
No. Piece of wood.
I was looking at that, I'm like, is that petrified?
Yeah. Here, make a camera out of this for me.
What's that? Oh, is that really what's going to happen?
No.
Oh, okay, I was going to say, man, Richard, my God.
No, see, that's the plate with mercury on it.
That is wholly not what I was expecting it to be.
Yeah, and then the plate lays on top of here. You close everything up. 4 minutes later, you close it up, pull the plate off.
That is just wild.
Yeah.
I've never
If you go online and look at, they'll show you pictures. The original unit stood about this high. They were, it's like an upside down pyramid, and the bottom was where the liquid mercury sat, and there was a heater down there. And originally what they would do is they would just put an alcohol lamp underneath it and heat it up.
And that just, does that
and then the vapors would come up and hit the plate.
Okay. Okay, I think that might have been the part I was missing. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's temperature controlled, which is really nice. Where, the old units, when your alcohol lamp, it's like, it's too warm, it's too cold.
Oh, yeah. And I run into that. Like, spend a lot of time out in Arizona. If I'm making a print, like a cyanotype or something, I have to put 2 fans on my frame so the negative doesn't melt.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, I am so glad I did decide to go ahead and come up, because I was having, I guess still am in a way, I ran into some transmission problems with my vehicle. And like, I was about a week late even getting started. I'm just like, maybe better not to drive, 2,000 miles just to hear. I'm like, nope, I want to do it. I'll never have the chance to do it again. Let me go grab my bag real quick, get this loaded up here. I'll do the, try not to say where, it's weird I can't do it. Yeah, I'll set it down. Yeah, I think I do that, but I'm bad about giving it, the old leg kick to get it out sometimes.
Oh, yeah, I've done that too.
I said my Barel block actually came with, it's an older one, actually came with that first Zone 6. I got the camera, I think a 135 or 210 Schneider, and a bunch of holders, and then the tripod. And I couldn't bring myself to get rid of that. So it's going to be used on this one now. I'm actually kind of glad, because some people, well, I figured out while I was restoring it, some of the rail had split a little bit right at the back, and he had screwed in 2, I think they were about 14 inches, 1/4 inch cast iron rods or plates on either side, so the camera wouldn't fold up. And so I ended up cutting that and fabricated 2 little hooks. I'm getting to my point about it. 2 little hooks to take the weight off of it, because I just figured out a few months ago it didn't have the tripod block with it. That's what I was missing. So anytime I set that camera up, I still have to put a monopod on the back if I rack it out to any extent. So yeah, but I'm actually going to, I'm glad you mentioned that about the head, as that fits so well, because I think that may have sealed the deal. Oh, go ahead. Sealed the deal about me getting one of those while we're out there. It's a 19-inch gers. And then the only lens that I have, that's the original dark cloth for my Corona, by the way. That's the only lens I have that will cover this at the moment.
The other plan?
Actually, stuck at nothing.
You want it mounted?
What's that?
You want it mounted?
You got time to do it?
Yeah.
Richard, I'd love this.
You're here.
Well, it's funny how that I've got my, I think I had a 10-inch commercial Lectar, and this happened to come with a 6-inch Durador board. Am I gonna bother you if I film over your shoulder right here?
That's fine.
Like I'm watching Marco Pierre White cook.
So you want the indicator to the side like this?
Let's see, this is my, yeah,
Go in
my,
like that.
yeah, that right said, yeah, please. Absolute beauty. What I owe you for doing that, Richard? You sure?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, thank you so much. That is, that doesn't happen every day to me.
Should get
Oh my God.
Find yourself a rear lens cap.
Yeah, I've actually got them locked up in my case because they never would. They weren't staying on. I don't think it's actually meant for it. They never was staying on there, so yeah, I've been unfortunately limping around with that.
Let me show you something.
Mine, I said I had the.
I had a 2024 set up outside the one time, and I'm like taking a photograph out of it, and I'm listening to the vehicle coming. I'm going, oh, that's a tour bus. And it gets to the crest of the hill and it stops, and I kind of like look through the smoke glasses and you can see all these flashes going off.
I'm telling you, these cameras, if anything, is a conversation starter and ender.
Yeah.
But yeah, mine's the Acme Ilex. I think it's a number 4. That's the biggest one I've ever seen. That's the biggest Ilex I've ever seen.
Yeah, I have 3 of these.
So you have, like you said, tour buses. I guess people just coming like for the wine, the cheese, that kind of thing coming through.
Down the road is Majestic Horse Farm.
Oh, okay.
They raise Frisian horses.
Frisian.
They're the black horses that have the really long socks. They're pure black horses.
I'm sure I've saw them.
They're a Belgian breed. They have the only certified breeding stallion in the United States.
But that's not a cheap animal at all, is it?
It's not cheap at all.